Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about things that I don't like in my own comic. There are a lot of things actually, and I know I come here and I'm giving advice on how to do comics, but I don't want to get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I myself do a lot of things that are not that successful and not that great that I don't see in the moment, but then after time passes and after I learn more, I realize that. And I also always growing, and whatever I know now is different from what I will know later as I'm working. The work that I did in the past always looks not perfect to me. I always look back and I see all the things that I don't like, and it's okay. And advice that I'm giving to you partially based on things that I did wrong and things that didn't work out for me. So I hope you guys understand that. So as an example, I'm gonna show you things that I don't like in my own comic. And I also think it's okay, and it's okay to look at those things, and because they help you to decide how to improve, what you can do better. And some things I don't think I can do better at this point, but I'm gonna mention them all anyway, and maybe that can be example for you of how you can critically analyze your own work and how you potentially can fix something that is less than perfect in the story that is long going, that is long. So my first thing that I don't like in my own comic that I don't know if I will be fixing at this point, the totality of chapter 2. drawing wise, I think it does what it's supposed to do, like story-wise. However, drawing-wise, it's all over the place, and the style changes all over the place. It starts with one style, that it changes style completely. I go from drawing backgrounds detailed to making background just go away and make it on kind of blue, and I change style from being clearly painted with a solid brush to then being painted with like a textured brush. And this style keeps changing and changing, and then as I arrive to the end of the chapter, then it starts looking kind of more like I want my comic to look like, but then it's completely different style, it seems like. I don't really like it, and I feel like this chapter is just a mess, drawing style wise, but ultimately that's kind of to be expected because I didn't find my footing yet. My first chapter was originally black and white. Then I decided I'm gonna do chapter 2 in color, which I did. And then I realized I'm gonna do the whole comic in color, so I went and revisited and painted chapter 1. So now it is in color. Technically, chapter 2 was the first chapter when I was realizing my drawing process, like painting in color process for the comic. And you can tell I was figuring out things. I didn't yet optimize my process, but ultimately, even though I'm not happy with how it looks, in order for me to go and revisit it, I have to kind of completely redraw it, and I wouldn't want to waste my time on this because this is the time that will be taken from me actually drawing chapters going forward. So I hope my readers will excuse me for that and will be understanding to the fact that I was figuring out my style anyway, and besides, if I go and kind of redraw it now, it will still stand out in comparison with chapter 1 and chapter 3 that surround it. But that's a learning curve for me, and because of this chapter I actually learned a lot of processes that help me streamline my comic creation process now, that I'm gonna share you with another video when I'm telling how to draw it faster. So it was a learning curve, but as a result, I don't necessarily like it, but the second thing that I don't like is the fact, also happened in chapter 2, but it was definitely happened in chapter 1 now, is the consistency of the look of my main character, of Tsukai. For the first 2.5 chapters, she was all over the place. She was looking like different person. The only thing that kept consistent, like she had pale skin and she had white hair. Her eye color is supposed to be ambiguous. Her eye color is green, blue, gray situation, but her features are different. Her eyebrows are different. The shape of her eyes is different. Her shape of her nose is different. Everything is so different. I kind of went through chapter 1 and fixed it. However, in chapter 2, some things because of the style is like almost impossible to fix. And in the middle of the chapter 3, I finally realized how she looks like. And then I went and in chapter 3, I kind of fixed pages before I released them. So now I'm very confident. I know how she looks like. It's in my head, it's clear. However, that's something that gave me so much trouble, and that looking back, I really don't like. I'm probably gonna make a whole video about this because it's kind of linked to the fact that I couldn't understand the character well yet. And that's why her appearance was not set in stone, because her character wasn't set in stone for myself. Like, I didn't understand her. Yeah, so that was the problem. It's still there, you can go look at it. But again, moving forward, it helped me. The fact that it was a problem made me really learn a lot of how to make characters look consistent and decide on her look overall. The third thing that I don't like about my comic currently is action scenes. I don't think my action scenes are that great. I had an action scene in chapter 5. It's actually redrawn. The original action scene was worse. It was worse, and then I was kind of mid chapter 7 and I realized that some things in the plot has to change for chapter 5, so I went to revisit this action scene and actually I think I improved it. So I don't think it's stellar by no means, but it was even worse before. I don't like that it doesn't feel fast-paced. I don't think it feels dynamic enough. It is dynamic because of the angle, but it doesn't feel fast because I still give those big frames. They slow down the action and give too much breathing room where it should be like more like a short cut once and like a big one just for statement action. It helped me to learn my weakness in this area, and it helped me realize what doesn't work, because I would reread it now. I reread my chapters always, but now on several rereads I'm understanding that it doesn't feel action, it doesn't have the right pacing, it doesn't have the right speed. Something is not right, and I'm gonna keep it in mind for my other action scenes. So I'm realizing that my action scenes are not ideal yet, and I have a lot to learn, and I'm gonna share some things that I came up with soon. But for now, like, I'm learning myself. I'm trying to figure out what makes the action scene fast-paced and like awesome, basically. Another thing that I don't like, that I'm not sure how to fix, is the fact that my main character, Sakai, she's an orphan, she's in the foster care system, and when I was first starting my comic, it was set in Russia, and I use Russian orphanages system as a base, because this is what I saw around. But then when I moved to the comic, I made it set in Canada, and then I just kind of like translated, like, first page is kind of identical to what it is in the book. And then I realized that the system is Canada. Wow, I'm so smart. I didn't think that the system might be different, but I realized that Canada has kind of different system and North America kind of has different system, and whatever I came up with in the comic now is super unrealistic, doesn't exist in Canada as it presented in my comic. So I know my comic is fantasy, but I don't want to just go around creating something in the real world that is serious, that kids that are orphans and how the system is supporting them or not supporting them. I don't want to just make it like whatever because this is how it looks currently now. And I got to know some people who actually went through like foster care system here and the challenges that it presents, and I feel like if I'm writing about this, I want to show it as realistic as I can, as truthful as I can, as detailed as I can, actually show it to my best degree. And unfortunately, because I set it up wrong, I will have troubles kind of explaining it later, because Sakai, she has stuff that comes from the fact that she was an orphanage and the fact that her mother died early on and that her dad, while being alive, kind of didn't support her at all, so she has to be taken in an orphanage. It affected her deeply, but the fact is that I didn't create a realistic system, and I would want to do it more realistic, and I will be talking about that aspect in the story and how it affected the character, but I don't know how to figure it out yet. I'm not gonna be retconning for sure. I'm not gonna go and change it because I just feel bad. People already read the story, and like people who already read the story, I don't want to be like, oh, now you're gonna reread it because I changed it. It's my fault, and I have to go with it and try to do my best to show experience of being in foster care system real while working with what I did already. That bugs me. That really bugs me. I gotta fix it somehow. We're gonna see. Stay tuned. Another thing that I don't like about my comic, it's kind of weird. I made a video talking about how to create character names, and I think I'm happy with the names of my main characters in the sense how they blend with the story. I do like it. I came up with them because of different things. Like I just picked up the words from Japanese language that I liked, but then I developed it and it really makes sense within the story why they have names like this. Like Tsukai, no, it's not already a word. I just tweaked it. But Kuroi is a Japanese word. He's my main character, by the way, one of my main characters, and it totally makes sense in the story now why he has this name. It's actually, I added the whole new chunk into the story about how the worlds are connected, how our human world is connected to Silania, and how they were connected historically, and how Silanians came to know several languages from our world, and how they're using it, and how they might culturally be connected, and what does blah blah. I think it blends nicely, but I still, even though Kuroi is Kuroi in my head, like he cannot be called anything else, like, but also I kind of hate that it's like actually a known word in Japanese language. Like, anybody who watched any amount of anime, they know that Kuroi means black. It's a known word, too known. I could as well name him Sugoi, I don't know. It's just annoying me. I feel like people gonna just look at his name and be like, oh, this chick is unoriginal as hell. Wow. I have to prove people who doubt me because I gave my character this name wrong that I'm actually original and my world building is good and I'm not just picking the most famous Japanese word as a name so for my character. So yay, that's another thing that I don't like and that bugs me up to this day. And the last thing that I'm gonna mention today, trust me there is more, but I don't want to make this video hella long and drag myself for too long for now. But basically another thing that I don't quite like is the beginning of my story. Not in a sense that I don't like how the story starts, but I feel like it starts more or less traditional, starts more like you think that you know what to expect from the story, but then it goes a little bit different places. It starts more naive and then it goes and introduces darker topics. And it starts with like one character journey, but it actually spreads out to be more political and following a lot of characters. That was always kind of the plan, but I feel that I didn't establish that in the beginning. I didn't think I gave enough clues. Now I feel for when people started reading my story, they have to like go through first 4 chapters without quite understanding where the story is going yet, like kind of like the tone of the story. I think first 4 chapters they still think that they know what to expect, and only on chapter 5 they may be starting realizing what's happening, and then later obviously chapters you're like, oh, that's what I expect people gonna think. But basically I feel like I'm misrepresenting my story. I'm not letting people know what my story is about early on, and I wish I did because I want people to know what they're in for. Maybe this is not the story for some people. Maybe some people gonna be disappointed when it's gonna go, or maybe some people who would love where it's gonna go not gonna start it because of my beginning not matching. And I understand that it has to do with the fact that I was working on this beginning for way too long and I had hiatus with my comic, and I as a person changed a lot during that time, and this has also affected the story where it's going now. So it's again me finding my voice in the comic, I'd say, or like the voice of the story. So I understand where it's going from and I understand why it is, but I'm also kind of a little upset about it because I know it is kind of a problem, and if I started the story now with the knowledge that I have now, I would maybe start it a little different. However, it is what it is. The beginning that I have now is a base for the story that I will have moving forward. It's a start, it's okay. I just gonna hope my drawing are good enough for people, except chapter 2, and to go through to where the story actually picks up. And I hope it's gonna worth the while of the people who are reading it. So this is some things that I don't particularly like in my story, and then I feel that I'm less than stellar, like way less, like oh my god. And then you should be better and learn from my mistakes, and hopefully while reading my comic, and if you're noticing this, you will be like, oh cool, oh that's not working, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna repeat what she did. So I hope you're gonna learn from my mistakes. I'm giving it to you, and yeah, however, it is a learning curve for all of us, and I learned so much while doing 5 chapters that are currently out, and I learn way more every day, and I'm still proud of the work that I already did and what I'm doing now, and I'm very excited for what's coming next. But yeah, definitely no art project is perfect, and I think something like comic that is a continuous project that you release over years, it's never gonna be perfect. It's always gonna be like a little bit of progression. The art style gonna improve, the writing skills is gonna improve, everything's gonna improve. So something it starts with is not gonna represent the style going forward. So I think it's okay, but it doesn't mean that I don't have problems early in my story. So yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. If you already read my story up to this point, let me know how much those things that I mentioned bug you, and if you have the same problems, say if you have troubles in your story and things that you don't like, also let me know. Let's have a conversation, make me feel better. Yeah, but yeah, so basically that's my video, me dragging myself, and trust me, there's way more. It's just I want to keep it constructive, and yeah, so I hope you enjoy, I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're gonna have a good day tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, up until my next video, where I'm gonna wish you a better day going forward. Does make sense? I don't know. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye guys.